Presently, gasoline and diesel are the primary hydrocarbon fuels supporting our daily lives. However, alternate hydrocarbon fuels are fast replacing them. These new fuels will undoubtedly become the normal fuels of the future.
The alternate fuels in use in our city today are methanol, compressed natural gas, and propane. They can be found in dual-fueled vehicles. The Triborough bus line in Queens, in conjunction with the Environmental Protection Agency, began a pilot program to implement the use of methanol in some of their specially designed buses. These buses are easily identified. The name methanol is displayed on all sides of the bus. Its chemical compound formula, CH3OH, is displayed on the front and rear of the bus. The Brooklyn Union Gas Company is using compressed natural gas in most of their vehicles. In addition, it is used in some of the Command Line buses in Brooklyn. Look for the flammable gas placard displayed on all these alternate fueled vehicles. The New York City Sanitation Department not only uses conventionally fueled vehicles, but is in the process of converting many of their fleet vehicles to compressed natural gas or to methanol. Not only their trucks, but many of their cars are alternately fueled. Remember, they can be dual-fueled vehicles as shown in this car. Furthermore, the United States Post Office, the Con Edison Company, the Environmental Protection Agency, the United Parcel Service, New York State Vehicles, the Parks Department, and even some taxicabs use alternate fuels. The list is ever expanding, and so must our awareness in fighting fires in these vehicles.
Meanwhile, the propane continued to burn away most of the combustibles inside the engine compartment. With the water tank running dry and the hood still refusing to give and the fire escalating, this particular job suddenly became anything but routine.
In the past, we have attacked gasoline and diesel-fueled fires with aqueous film-forming foam, or protein foams, and alternately fueled fires with dry chemical extinguishers and alcohol-resistant foam. This plan of attack still holds true today. The only difference is we are now going to use a preferred dry chemical which can be applied on all hydrocarbon fires, Purple K. Purple K, a lavender-colored potassium bicarbonate base powder, has been around for almost 3 decades. Here on the deck of the USS Forrestal in 1967, Purple K was used on JP-4 jet fuel.
Somehow a Zuni rocket has been triggered, roaring across the flight deck and hitting an A-4 Skyhawk. A sheet of flame from the A-4's ruptured fuel tank has enveloped the Skyhawk and her immediate neighbors. Behind that curtain of smoke, 2 1,000-pound bombs have already dropped from her wings onto the burning deck. Here, almost at mid-screen, we see a crash crew chief moving toward the flames with a Purple K fire extinguisher. His only thought, the trapped pilots in those planes.
Now, 24 years later, we realize the superior extinguishment capabilities of Purple K. It is 2.5 times as effective as any other extinguisher used on Class B fires. It is the most effective extinguisher on methanol fires. For this reason, the FDNY is equipping each company with a Purple K extinguisher and training the members in its use and its care and maintenance. Once our firefighters are trained in its application techniques and cautioned in its limitations, Purple K will become the fire suppression tool of choice for knockdown at alternate fuel fires and an option at petroleum fires. Let's take a look at 2 types of Purple K extinguishers. The American LaFrance, which has a pin as its safety release. The Ansel uses the hose as its safety. To operate the American LaFrance, grasp the nozzle, release the pin, and push down on the puncture lever, which activates the CO2 cartridge. To operate the Ansel, grasp the nozzle, release the hose, and push down on the puncture lever, which activates the CO2 cartridge. Once the cartridge is activated, the red stem pops up. Both models expel in 11 seconds, contain 27 pounds of powder, weigh approximately 57 pounds when full. Their discharge range is 19 to 20 feet. Their coverage is approximately 30 feet. Each company is issued 1 extinguisher, 2 Fdny issued CO2 cartridges, and 1 50-pound bucket of Purple K. Purple K is used on fires of petroleum, methanol, propane, and compressed natural gas. It can also be used on some electrical fires when damage to the connections are not important. Size up must include the possibility of shutting down pressurized fuel sources. We are demonstrating a methanol fire here at the Academy. Methanol fuel looks very much like water. Therefore, the boundary of a spill is difficult to detect. The 8800 gas meter detector, carried in the battalion chief's car, can be used when there is a question regarding the extent of the spill. The first step in knocking down methanol or any hydrocarbon fires using Purple K or other dry chemical extinguishers is to determine the direction of the wind. It should be at your back as you approach. An adverse wind will severely retard the effectiveness of the extinguisher and will place you in jeopardy. An alarming characteristic of methanol fires is that no flame is visible during daylight hours. Only the heat wave is visible. While it burns with a heat output 1/3 that of gasoline, it is still enough to ignite substances. Since dry chem does not cool, suppress vapors, or prevent reignition, never turn your back on a fire. Extinguishment of the fire is standard operating procedure, followed immediately with a blanket of AR foam for cooling and suppression of vapors. Beware, formaldehyde gas, a carcinogen, is the byproduct of the combustion of methanol. The use of self-contained breathing apparatus is mandatory. Start your approach 8 to 10 feet from the edge of the spill. Squeeze the nozzle while holding it at a 45-degree angle. Use a rapid side-to-side motion. Overlap the spill edge with chemical while advancing. Stop 3 to 4 feet from the spill edge. In the following instructional demonstrations, hosted by Mobil Oil Corporation personnel at their training facility in New Jersey, Academy staff instructed some of the more common situations and extinguishing techniques. Using diesel fuel as accelerant, the operational procedures remain the same as for methanol. In general, all spills of hydrocarbon fuels would be extinguished in this way. For a very large spill, the 150 to 300 pound dry chemical units would be used if available. The procedure for applying the agent varies somewhat when an obstacle is found in the spill area. 2 firefighters are instructed to approach the spill initially from the same direction, then branch out to either side of the spill. This chases the fire to the front and away from the obstacle, and suppression can be completed. 3-dimensional fires also pose a problem. Members approach together with the wind at their backs. One extinguishes the base of the fire area, while the other simultaneously extinguishes the fire at the higher level and both work the Purple K upwards. 3D with obstacle. These fires are basically attacked the same way. The rapid side-to-side motion of the nozzle spreads the Purple K to the front and rear of the cabinet and worked from bottom to top. Pressurized fires. Normally, pressurized fuel fires are not extinguished until the fuel source can be shut down. Approach from the upwind side. Stop approximately 15 feet from the front edge of the fire area. Direct the Purple K stream at the fuel source. Move the Purple K down the stream of escaping fuel. Extinguish the remaining fire using a rapid side-to-side sweeping motion. Extinguishment of some vehicle fires can be accomplished using a combination of Purple K and fog. Metal can be so hot as to continually reignite. But knocked down with Purple K aligned with a fog stream for cooling affects extinguishment. Complete fire suppression is achieved when the blanket of appropriate foam is applied. Refill quantities should be covered tightly and stored in a dry place to prevent moisture absorption. Purple K extinguishers shall be recharged after use or as indicated by inspection. Not only the powder, but also the CO2 cartridge must be replaced. Invert the extinguisher and open the nozzle to clear dry chemical from the hose and to relieve all pressure remaining in the shell. In the upright position, replace the hose in its normal position and insert the nozzle in the holder. Remove the cartridge guard and spent cartridge. It has a left-hand thread. Remove the fill cap slowly and deliberately. If there is any residual pressure in the shell, it will be relieved through the pressure relief vent hole. Pause after one turn and listen. Wait until all sounds of escaping pressure have ceased before removing the cap. Stir up the Purple K to make it easy to pour. Place a funnel in the fill opening and pour the Purple K. Fill to within 3 inches of the top. Wait a moment for the Purple K to settle. Clean the fill opening threads and the gasket seating surface on the shell. Pressure vents are cut in the threads. Be sure they are clean and unobstructed. Remove the gaskets from the fill cap and examine them for elasticity. Remove all surface deposits from the gaskets using a clean, dry rag and grease them lightly by hand with a high-grade grease, such as lubriplate. Clean the threads and gasket seating surface of the cap with a stiff bristle brush before returning the gaskets to the cap. Pressure vents are cut in the threads. Be sure they are clean and unobstructed. Reset the red stem, pulling it down. Return the cap to the shell. Hand tight is sufficient. Inspect the cartridge receiver to verify that the pressure relief vent is clear. Replace the safeties, hose in place or pin, before installing the cartridge. Hand tighten. Replace the cartridge guard, making sure the guide fork inside the guard is fitted into the recessed groove in the cartridge receiver body. Record the date of the recharge on the tag on the extinguisher. Dust off the outer shell and replace in its designated place on the rig. Inspection procedures. Extinguishers are to be inspected at the beginning of each tour. Ensure that it is in its designated place and is accessible for immediate use. Examine the extinguisher shell, cartridge guard, cartridge receiver, and all external parts for evidence of physical damage. Check the red pressure indicator stem. If it has popped up, a complete inspection check as outlined in the next section must be followed. Monthly inspection. Examine the exterior of the shell, cartridge guard, and receiver for any damage or corrosion. Check the red stem. If it is up, it may not mean that the cylinder has been charged, but may be that this stem has not been reset during recharging. To ensure that there is no pressure in the cylinder, invert it. Direct the nozzle to a safe place and squeeze the lever. Any residual pressure would be released. Do this without disturbing the safeties. If the red stem is not up, heft the unit to make sure it is filled to capacity. If in doubt, after hefting, remove the fill cap to make absolutely certain the shell is filled to rated capacity. Next, unscrew the cartridge and examine the seal to see that it has not been punctured. A spent or used cartridge is readily identifiable from a full cartridge by the hole made by the puncture pin upon operation of the extinguisher. If it is punctured, follow recharging procedures. If not, go on to check the nozzle tip for obstructions. Insects are a common cause of nozzle obstruction. The nozzle handle should be free moving. If not, clean deposits with a stiff bristle brush. Then, examine the hose for wear and tear. Check the hose couplings for tightness, corrosion, or cracks. Place the extinguisher back in its designated place, assuring that it is accessible for immediate use. In addition to inspection, maintenance must be performed after 6 months if the extinguisher has not been used or recharged. This is carried out by completely discharging and then recharging. A suggestion is to discharge the unit during an outdoor company or multi-unit drill period. Recharge it, but in addition, these preventive maintenance procedures will be performed. Operate the puncture lever to make sure the lever works freely. A bent or dull pin may hang up and not puncture the cartridge seal disc cleanly. Remove and examine the gasket in the cartridge receiver. Replace it if brittle, compression set, cracked, cut, or missing. When requesting this part from the Technical Services Division, the type of extinguisher must be noted on the requisition. Parts must not be interchanged and the extinguisher will be out of service until the part is received. Send the spent cartridge with the shipping cap attached to the Technical Services Division for recharging. Finally, if the extinguisher is secured by any type of bracket or hung by a support, that bracket or support and the extinguisher's hanging ring must be maintained.